What's good? What's good? I'm back. Paul Pickett, Promo Palace LLC, Vlog 36. I'm going to title this one, Why Press Releases Are So Important. Vlog 36, Why Press Releases Are So Important. Before I get started, hit the click now, subscribe button in the right hand corner. If you're watching on Instagram, Facebook, hit the follow. Don't forget the audio version goes to Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, Odyssey, Castbox, Deezer, iHeart, Player FM, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Stitcher, TuneIn and more. Or you can Google Paul Pickett Podcast and find the audio versions of these Promo Palace LLC folks. Vlog 36, Why Press Releases are so important. First of all, every brand that drops a new product should be dropping a press release. Every musician that drops a new single or a new album should have a press release. And a lot of people inside the music business think really press is like blog posts and stuff like that. It can be if it's a blog that's mainly a music news site, because just posting, a song link and a description, that's not really news. It's not a music news site or a news site. When we think of press release, you think more of Yahoo News, Google News, actual news sites, And there's a few reasons why you should have a press release for every single song you do or every album you do. Number one, it's the standard. It's the standard to release press on your new single, your new album. Number two, it's good for SEO purposes, especially for businesses and brands. It could benefit in multiple ways for SEO purposes, especially if you hyperlink a website link to specific keywords or whatnot. So press release is a standard. First of all, number one, it's great for SEO because if somebody searches out your brand name or your artist name, you'll have a lot of press showing up. So it's good for search engine rankings. It's good for search engine results. It's also good for, as an artist, it's good for the algorithms on Spotify. Now, Spotify's algorithms, one of the things they take into account is press release. Like how many news sites or blog sites have like news or content about your song. So if you don't have no press release, you're not doing no Google News, Yahoo News, Bing News, or any other news sites like that, you definitely can't fully benefit with the algorithms of Spotify. And I'm pretty sure there's other websites like Pandora probably, and Apple Music. They probably take into account of those things as well. If Spotify's taking account of how many blogs post your content or how many news sites post your content as part of the algorithms, then I'm pretty sure that other platforms are as well, like Apple and Pandora, because Pandora takes into account a lot of things like Facebook likes, Twitter followers, mentions, station ads on Pandora, plays on Pandora, so there's a lot of things that could take into account algorithms. And another thing is investors. If you got no press, how you sit here trying to get investors with no press? I'm gonna take a sip of my cherry Sprite, and you can think of that for a second. How are you sitting here trying to get investors and you have no press? So there's three things already right there that I told you that press helps with. SEO, and not only search engine rankings, but search engine results. It also helps with algorithms of other sites like Spotify and probably Pandora and Apple as well. Now, don't quote me on that, of actually no one of those specific other sites use press, but I'm pretty sure they do. If Spotify does as a streaming site, I'm pretty sure they do. And there's other sites that, like Alexa, like rankings, they probably take an account of press release and, you know, blog post as well. And if I know anything about SEO, most SEO is done with um, like a lot of the big high domain sites used for SEO is like WordPress, Blogger, because they have a page rank of 9 for WordPress and I think 8 of Blogger. And the higher the page rank, the better that site is for search engine results and rankings. You know, when you use hyperlinks and whatnot. You know, and that is if you do hyperlink in your press release. But if I do a press release, I'm going to have a hyperlink into it. You know, and anytime you're an artist, every time you drop a new single, you should be dropping press for it. And to be honest with you, you probably should have press, two presses on it. You should have press before it releases, you know, like new single on the way, and that press can help a lot for Spotify probably picking up your song on their big playlist because they're probably going to take an account of those. And plus, if you don't get picked up on their big playlist, it's going to help with the algorithms of you getting picked up on independent playlists. You know, so press release are technically a must. Any kind of business, like for example, okay, I do a lot of promotion for the Dizzle brand because, you know, one of my best friends and mentor, Chris Roker, is a business partner at Dizzle brand, you know, and check them out, dizzlebrand.com. And you best believe that Dizzle brand is going to have to put out some kind of press, you know, especially when they fully, when everything's is ready, like 100% full steam ahead, we're ready to go, you got to put out press, you know. And this idea that you paying blogs to post your music, that's not press. It's not press if it's not a actual news article written up about your song, you know. And so we gotta stop acting like these so-called, a lot of these so-called online PR companies are really PR companies when all they do is get you blog posts to your content. That's not PR. That's not press. Press has everything to do with media and the news. And blogs are not really media. They're not really media. Maybe a blog like Complex. Complex is more of media, but unless your blog is like Complex does actual news footage videos where they have Complex reporters and news article writers, you know, get in front of a camera and actually, you know, do press, actually do a news article or actually do news. But if you're just posting music and just bios and, you know, so and so drops a new song, I mean, that's not really press. You know, it's gotta hit those sites, those actual news sites. Yahoo News, Google News, Bing News, and so on. You know. Don't forget to hit that click now, subscribe button. So press releases are very important and they're a must because they're the standards of the music industry, you know. And you got to watch out when you pay some of these people. Like, I don't claim to be a PR company. I am a music marketing company. I don't claim to be PR, but even though now that I've added press release services, I still don't claim to be a PR company. I'm not actually getting, you know, people like interviews at the Breakfast Club and radio. Now if they're getting you radio interviews, that is PR. That is PR. They're getting you radio interviews or getting you interviews, you know, period. But a lot of these so-called PR companies don't get interviews. All they do is get your content posted to a blog, and that is not press. That is not press release. That is not public relations. That is not PR. Not one bit. All real PR work is not just done online. If it's all done online, it's not real PR work. If you're not physically going to an interview, they are not doing PR work. I'll repeat, if you were not physically going to an interview, going to a red carpet event, something of that nature. So press is the standard. It's very important. It helps with SEO. It helps with algorithms on Spotify and other sites. It helps with you getting investors. It helps with you getting signed with record labels. It helps with you building fan base. I mean, that's like 4 or 5 things I've named. And it also helps because it looks good. It looks sexy. It's sexy to have press. It's sexy when you got press, you know. And which I gotta get some press done up with New Litter, to be honest with you. You know, I gotta get some new press done up with Promo Palace. You know, now that I got press release services that I offer, I'm going to use those to my advantage as well. You know. But anytime you're an artist and you drop a single and you ain't got press, that's a no-no. You're not following the standards. And the standards are in place for a reason. You know. People think they can just like alleviate all the standards of the music industry and make it. No, you got to follow some of the standards. Some of the standards to make it in the music industry. You know, you got to follow some of them. You know, whether it's the standards of how we build fan base. You know, you got to follow some of these standards in the music industry to be successful. There's no shortcuts. A lot of people think there's a super fast way to get to the music business. You know, to get signed in this, that, and the third. Yeah, have $250,000 and an instant hit. That's the super fast way. $250,000 hit invested into you and an instant hit. But if you don't got an instant hit, that $250,000 is going if you got an artist with an instant hit, and I put $250,000 behind him, and I got an artist who just has an album cut and not an instant hit, and I put $250,000 behind him, the guy with an instant hit is going to get there so much faster. Because he brought something of value to the table. When you just bring a song that's not an instant hit to the table, you ain't brought nothing of value. But you bringing a hit, instant hit, you brought something of value. But you're just bringing an album cut. It's just an album cut. It's going to take us a lot longer to build fan base with an album cut than with an instant hit. I don't care what kind of money you got. If we take the same amount of money and put it into an album cut and an instant hit, the instant hit is going to get there so much faster. Because the reaction is going to be so much greater because it's an instant hit. This idea that album cuts are supposed to be hits or instant hits, stop it. It's bogus. And this idea that if you're making only album cuts that you're making hits, let me sip on my Sprite because my mouth totally went dry on that thought. The idea that an artist that only makes album cuts is making hit records is bogus. It's fairy tales. It's imaginary made up. And I ain't saying there's nothing wrong with an artist that just makes album cuts. He just has to be realistic about his expectations and how much fan base is really out there for him, how long it's going to take to build that fan base. And how much money we're going to need to get to that fan base. You know. But instant hit, 250,000, yeah, there's a shortcut. There's a fast way to the music industry. You know. But that's not every artist. I deal with hundreds and hundreds of artists. Most artists aren't making hit records. They're just making album cuts or good records. Album cuts are good records. They're not making hit records. This idea that a promo company is working with 1,000 artists and 100% of them are making hit records, it's bogus. It's bogus. The idea that they're all making great music is bogus. There's levels to this. Great, good, above average, average, below average. There's levels, you know. But yeah, man, press releases are very important. They're the standards of the music industry. They help with a lot of other things like SEO searching, SEO rankings, algorithms on streaming sites, and getting you investors, helping you get signed to labels, helping you build fans, helping you get sponsors. There's a lot of things press could help you with. And two of those things are highly important: investors and sponsors. And without press, you're not going to get investors or sponsors. Not real investors or real sponsors. Not without press. No Coca-Cola or no big company is not going to sponsor an artist that has no press whatsoever. So it's a must to drop press on your single and your album. And if you're not dropping press, it's not that not that I question your budget. I question your commitment and your dedication as an artist or as a brand or as a business. Because once again, I don't care if you do music or you sell a physical product or a service. Every business and brand should have press. If you're a business or brand and you got no press about nada, nothing, zilch, I have to question your commitment and your dedication. And I got to question your budget as well. I know, it's one thing for me to question your budget. Because everybody can't afford the same budgets. And that's okay. I'm never knock people on what their budget is. I just knock them on their expectations based on what their budget is. I repeat, I never ever knock anybody based on what their budget is. But I knock them if their expectations are so super high. You got a super low budget, but you got super high expectations. Stop it! Because your budget is part of the dictation of the expectations we should expect out of this. If you have no money to promote, then you should expect a lot. You should expect much of nothing if you have no money to promote. You should expect much of nothing for results. And the more money you got, the more you can expect for results. I don't care how good your music is, because everybody's got fan base out there. There's plenty of artists that I don't like their music, but they got tons of fans. Tons of fans. So am I knocking them totally because I don't like their music and they got tons of fans? No, I have some form of respect for them. I have some form of admiration for artists that I don't like their music one bit and they got tons of fans. That means they are putting up a budget, they're committed, they're dedicated, their expectations are not unrealistic, And it usually be the artists that be the most talented, got the least amount of money, but got the highest expectations. Why? What? How the hell where do you calculate that the artist with the least amount of money should have the highest expectations? Where does that happen in the business world except the music business? It's the only business in the world where a business has the least amount of money and they got the highest expectations. That's not even realistic. The less money you got in business world, the less you should expect. If I'm averaging $1 a day and this guy's averaging $5 a day, I don't care if his services are not as high quality as mine or not. I shouldn't automatically assume and expect far greater, business than he gets when he's actually advertising 5 times more than I am. His advertising budget is 5 times greater, but I think I should be above him, And that's another thing. Artists, I gotta say this, man. Artists in the music business, it's kind of like when I get into politics. They don't want equal opportunity. They want equal outcome. Artists just want to be signed for $1 million, put $0 up, and then start complaining when I'm not getting what I should get paid. If you put $0 into this, $0, you're getting exactly what you deserve back. You're getting no matter what that label is paying you. If you go to a label and sign with a label, or you even get an investor, and he puts up $1 million and you put up 0, you're getting exactly what you deserve financially. Because you put up nothing. You put up nothing. Once again, we got to stop acting like artists. Just because you bring a song to the table, or music to the table, you're bringing something of value. unless it's making thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every single day, you're bringing nothing of value to the table. If you're not generating a source of income off of your music every single day, then you're not bringing nothing of value to the table. Because that's how value is determined in the business world. Off of how much money it's generated, how much revenue. Just because you make a song last week doesn't mean it's worth a single penny. Until somebody actually physically buys that product, buys that song, it has no value. And if you put value on music based off of just streaming alone, everybody on Spotify, every major artist on Spotify has got crazy bot plays. Crazy bot plays going on. There's crazy bot plays going on across Spotify, which means no real people listening, which means no real value. No value if bots are listening. You have not generated no real revenue if bots are listening. It's just fake accounts. Until real people spend real money, you have no real value in the music business or any business for that matter. If I start selling t-shirts, when I first started selling New Little Apparel t-shirts, they had no real value to them because I hadn't sold a single t-shirt. But then when people start buying hundreds of dollars worth of t-shirts at a time, the value goes up. The value goes up. And nobody knows about these t-shirts if I'm not releasing any kind of press. If I'm not putting it out there, announcing to the world. And just uploading artists, all y'all do is upload content. That's not announcing to the world. Because they don't even know you uploaded it. 40,000 songs per day on Spotify. 40,000. That's another reason why a press release is important and a must. Because 40,000 songs are being released on Spotify every day. So if you're not putting press on your song, what makes it stand out from the rest? Once again, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget the audio version of this podcast goes to dozens sites: Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, Odyssey, Castbox, Deezer, iHeart, Player FM, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Stitcher, TuneIn, and more. This is vlog 36. This one was titled Why Press Releases Are So Important. Don't forget these vlogs are also sponsored by New Litter Apparel, newlitter.com. And of course, they're sponsored by PromoPalace.biz because these are Promo Palace LLC vlogs. So check out my website, PromoPalace.biz, for online marketing promotions for your music or brand. If you like t-shirts and you like dogs or cats, or you like hoodies, please check out newlitter.com, New Litter Apparel. We also got a apparel for your dogs to wear, like bandanas and whatnot. Also, I got to give shouts out to the Dizzle brand for Shizzle. I always got to give shouts out to the Dizzle. DizzleBrand.com. Check them out. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Dizzle Brand coming soon to a ABC store, club, bar, or venue near you. And you can check them out. It's a mixture of cognac, agave tequila, orange liquor, mango mix, crisp lemon. Sounds so delicious. I have some on the way soon. And once I get that little taste test, I'll put that out there, let y'all know what y'all think. Even though I'm not a big liquor drinking guy, I do got a bottle of Paul Masson because, I'm known to the music world as Paul Masson, but I'm known to the business world as Paul Pickett. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in to Promo Palace LLC Vlogs. Don't forget to hit the follow or the click now subscribe button wherever you're watching this on. The video version goes to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can Google Paul Pickett Podcast for the audio version as well. No more to say, man. Press releases. It's the standards. It's a must. And it's very important for half a dozen reasons that I pretty much named. Once again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Peace, and I'm out.